Guys, welcome to the J. Scott Outdoors podcast. It is August 27th, and I just got back last night from my Alaska Chugach hunt in 14C. I left Anchorage yesterday I flew out at 8 o'clock. And so I was at the airport at 6 o'clock, and I ended up getting back to Colorado at around 9:30. I flew from Anchorage to Seattle, had a couple hour layover in Seattle. Actually, got a text from Jason Hairston, the owner of Kuyu. Him and his son and his dad were coming up to hunt in Alaska for caribou, so we met up at the airport. It was good to see them. And then I flew to Salt Lake City and then on into Aspen here in Colorado. But I wanted to kind of share some of the audio recap from this latest hunt. And I also wanted to go over just the gear that I took and that I wore on the hunt, and then you can kind of hear the recap. Also want to let you know that if you'd like to see all the videos and pictures from the hunt, I tried to every day do a really good job of documenting the hunt and describing what we were doing, what we were seeing, showing some of the terrain and what have you. So if you go on my Instagram account, that's at JScottOutdoors, you can see that. So I'll go over a little bit of the gear that I took on the hunt, and then I'll let you hear the recap. So I took the Kuyu 90. So on my top, the gear that I wore on the top from the waist up was a Kuyu 97 Peloton hoodie. I really like that. It's a really lightweight piece of gear. I took the Kuyu 240 Peloton hoodie, but I left it in my dry bag. It actually never came out. I never put it on. So that was probably one piece of gear that I probably could have done without on that particular hunt. I really like that piece, but I never used it on the entire hunt. So I took two Merino 145 zip tees. Ironically, I wore the same zip tee for the 5 days. I left the other one in my dry bag and never changed into it. So that's two hunts that I've gone on there where I've basically worn the same 145 zip tee. So that's probably for the next hunt, a little bit of weight savings. The challenge is if you get that merino shirt really, really wet and for whatever reason, and you do need to change shirts, I wouldn't have a shirt. Now, the Peloton 97 hoodie could serve as a base layer shirt as well. So that's an interesting component there. I took the Kuyu guide gloves, which I wore a little bit, but not very much. Kuyu cap, merino neck gaiter. I actually took two Kuyu merino neck gaiters. I wear neck gaiters for warmth, and I wear them to keep the sun off me. Obviously, in the Chugach, there wasn't a lot of sun, but I really like the Kuyu neck gaiter. I took the Kuyu balaclava thinking, I would need it, but I actually never wore it. It's a great piece. It's going to be awesome, I think, for these colder hunts on the Ot6 ranch in Colorado or even the January Cooster hunts. I think that balaclava, but that was a piece that I took on the Chugach hunt and never wore. The Kuyu Super Down Pro jacket. That was key. I love that jacket. It's got a little bit more insulation than the Kuyu Super Down jacket, and which ironically I took both. I took the Super Down jacket and the Super Down Pro, and when it was really raining and when we were glassing, with quite a bit of wind and stuff, I actually wore the Super Down jacket and the Super Down Pro, and I was always nice and toasty. And then when I shot my ram, the weather started getting cold and got kind of nasty. I put on not only the Super Down Pro jacket, but I put on the Super Down pants as well. Then the Kuyu rain jacket. I was in that Yukon. So they've got the Ultra, the Chugach, and the Yukon. The Yukon is the heaviest duty of the Kuyu rain gear. I wore the Yukon rain jacket pretty much the whole time, and then the Peloton 240 beanie I wore a lot, and obviously slept every night with that Peloton 240 beanie. On the bottoms, I wore Kuyu Yukon gaiters. My everyday pant, I didn't even take an actual pant on this hunt. I wore the Kuyu Yukon rain pant the entire time, so that was my pant for the hunt. When I was hiking, a lot of times I just had the side zip vents open. Those Yukon, all Kuyu rain pants actually zip all the way down. The Chugach and the Yukon zip all the way down the leg. So you can vent really well. And that was actually something that Lance had recommended, and I'm glad I did. I thought I was going to regret it, but if I had to do it again tomorrow, I would definitely not even take a regular pant. That's a tip for hunting in Alaska or places where it's really wet. Basically just hunt in your rain pant. And then I had Kuyu 145 zip off long underwear, which you can put on and off without taking off your boots, and those were key. And then you can also put your Super Down Pro rain pants, or excuse me, Super Down Pro pants underneath the rain pants if you get real cold and you're sitting there glassing. So that's something to think about as well. I actually at the last minute switched to, for my boots, I switched to the Schnee's Granite. It's a 10-inch boot. Lance thought that we could see some snow and it could get real nasty, and he thought that I needed some insulation. The Kuyu Rebel Ks are not insulated, so I took the Schnee's. Now the Schnee's are a full leather boot and they're a lot heavier, and I did notice how much heavier they were. And looking back, I think I would have been just fine. We actually had a little bit of snow on the last day coming out. Up on the mountain tips, but I probably would have been just fine with the Kuyu, the Scarpa Rebel K boot. Let's see here. I had the Kuyu sock, the thin merino liner, which is the Swiftwick Aspire 7. And then the Kuyu climbing belt. In my pack, the pack that I actually took was a Kuyu Ultra 7000. It was the first time. I usually take the 7200, and I like the 7000. It's I think a full pound lighter than the 7200, and I really liked the pack. Bug face net I took, but I never used. The rifle sling, obviously I used. The Kuyu Glassine pad. The Kuyu pack cover, I used it some, and the Kuyu 15 degree bag, which is new to me. I've always had the 30 degree bag, but I'm glad I had the 15 degree bag. I really like the Kuyu sleeping bags. I took 2 pairs actually of the Peloton 200 glove, and then the Kuyu glassine mitt, prototype glassine mitts, which really like. Now the prototype, this prototype is a little bit different than the regular Kuyu glassine mitt. The regular Kuyu glassine mitt allows, if you will, your thumb. There's a thumb hole, but then it's a mitten, so there's a place for your 4 fingers. The prototype actually leaves your trigger finger, or what would be your pointer finger, on both hands out, and it even has a little hole that you can actually bring your bare skin, if you will, on your finger out, to feel the trigger if necessary. And I really liked those new prototype gloves. I used the Neo Air sleeping pad, and it worked great. Bino lens cleaner, a Havlon a 10 blade 60A Havlon knife. I did take the long spoon, which that was a recommendation of Brendan Burns when I went to the NWT for the Mountain House meals. The long spoon was fantastic. Again, I took a 1 liter Nalgene water bottle. I actually took a 1 liter Nalgene pee bottle. That one day, I believe it was day number 3, where we spent the entire day in the tents, that came in handy. I didn't have to get out of the tent. I took several roll top Kuyu dry bags, and I took trekking poles, and then I used the Kuyu Mountain Star tent. Dar and I both took our own Kuyu Mountain Star tents, which, looking back, I don't like. I'm such a finicky sleeper. I like having my own tent, so that was huge. Then the Kuyu Bino system with the rangefinder holder. I had the Leupold, I believe it's the 1200 TBR rangefinder. I used the Outdoorsman's Bino adapter, 2 lens cleaners. Dar actually packed my Swarovski 65 STX spotting scope and a slick 613 tripod with a Outdoorsman's micro panhead, which came in handy. I had my Global Star sat phone. I had an InReach device to text my wife. The iPhone with the phone scope adapter, and a headlamp, which we didn't need the headlamp actually. I used it a little bit in my tent, but I didn't need the headlamp till the 5th day, which was actually the opening day, when we left at like 4 something in the morning in the dark to get up where the ram was. So first aid kit, a small little toothbrush and paste, an extra chapstick, Advil, a lighter, and some small little fire starter, earplugs, sunglasses, which, looking back, there was never any sun in the Chugach. I wouldn't take my sunglasses. I wear my sunglasses everywhere. I have pretty sensitive eyes to the sun. I have blue eyes, and for whatever reason, I've always been sensitive to the sun, so I typically always take sunglasses. I did take my Teva water shoes, the same ones that I wear when I'm floating down the river, which, looking back, really didn't need those. We did have creek crossings, but we just used our rain pants and the Yukon Gator. And having that 10-inch boot, it was actually, the creek crossings were fine. And I took an extra buckle. And then food, I took basically my snack bags, took 2 pounds a day. And then Lance, his crew, had breakfast, lunch, and dinner, basically with the Mountain House meals. So that's kind of my gear, and just had a phenomenal time. I can't recommend a group of guys, guides, outfitters. I can't recommend a group more than I could recommend Lance Kronberger. It was just, Lance and John Rydeen and all of his crew are just phenomenal. And actually, Lance had someone else in the Chugach in my unit on the first hunt, and he got a really nice ram. I'll try and post a picture on my Instagram account. That was the season before mine, and then they had toke hunters. And then the interesting thing, when I booked the hunt, Lance told me well in advance that he had several hunters over in the toke, and I believe it starts like a couple days after my hunt. And so he wanted Dar and I to come in early. He said he would have a crew, doing a bunch of scouting, and what our hope was, because of their toke hunts, that we could find a good ram, be sitting on that ram the day before the season, and then harvest the ram opening day, which is exactly what happened. If you guys ever get a chance to hunt with Lance and his crew, I highly recommend it. Freelance Outdoor Adventures. You can go on their website. I thought it was funny on their website, and Lance, in his seminar that he gave at Kuyu in June, where I also gave a seminar on optics, his tagline, so to speak, is "They specialize in wet, cold, and miserable." And after spending 5 or 6 days in the Chugach, I understand exactly what he's talking about, and they do an outstanding job. So I want to thank him and all the guys for all of their professionalism, and just an awesome hunt for sure. And guys, I want to thank you for your support of this podcast. Without you guys, it wouldn't be possible. I'd like to thank you for supporting my Instagram account. I get so much positive feedback from you guys. The download numbers on my podcast have never been higher, and that's all directly attributed to the support that you guys show my podcast. I am going to continue to try and bring good information to you guys, bring value, and I love hearing from you. If you'd like to send me a message, you can do so on direct message on Instagram, or you can send me an email at jscottoutdoors@gmail.com. Guys, I also want to thank the sponsors of this podcast, Go Hunt Insider. Right now they are doing a free trial, so if you've ever wondered what the Go Hunt Insider is about, you can go on there and get a 30-day free trial. You can sign up. All you got to do is go to gohunt.com/jscott. You sign up for a free 30-day trial. You can go through all of the western states, all of the animals, look at all of the draw odds, look at all the strategy articles, and get a sense of how those guys do it over there. Highly recommend you do that. Also want to thank Kuyu Ultralight Hunting. Jason Harrison and his crew just make phenomenal gear. Make sure to go to kuiu.com to get your great hunting gear there. Also want to thank Canyon Coolers, and if you go to Canyon Coolers and you use the J Scott promo code, you're going to get a 10% discount. And then the Outdoorsmans, if you use the J Scott promo code either online or by calling the number on the website, outdoorsmans.com, use the J Scott promo code, you're going to get a 10% discount. Guys, let's go right into the recap. We got elk season, we got mule deer season, everything's kicking off. Colorado started this Saturday. Archery bucks in Arizona have been hitting the ground. It's just an awesome time. I'm going to be interviewing and doing a bunch of podcasts, so appreciate the support, and let's have a great fall. Guys, welcome to the Chugach in Alaska. It's about 10 o'clock at night, and we're at our second night here. The hunt hasn't started yet. We actually have 2 full days before the season starts. Tomorrow, the 21st, then the 22nd, and the hunt starts on the 23rd. So I guess that would be Thursday morning is when the actual hunt starts. We did a bunch of hiking yesterday, saw some rams, and then met up with a couple of Lance's guides, and they had told us that a couple of other of Lance's guides had found a good ram, so we hiked 8.5 miles today. Pretty much hiked from 8 until around, I guess it was 3:30, maybe 4 o'clock today, and we finally arrived. And it had been raining kind of on and off all day, but we were able to get the tent set up before the heavy rain came in. And then it actually broke, and we just had some dinner at around 9 o'clock, and I don't know if you can hear the wind in the background, but the wind's blowing pretty good, and I'm in my Kuyu Mountain Star 2-person tent, and we actually have Dark Holborn, who's my hunting partner, obviously is in about 10 yards away in his Mountain Star Kuyu 2-person tent. And then we have 5 guides and Lance. So Lance has an unbelievable crew of young guys that are just diehard sheep nuts, and it's just been fun hanging out with these guys. These guys are true professionals. It's just been an awesome experience seeing these guys in their element, doing their thing, and Lance, I can't say enough good things about him, and it reflects all the way down through each one of his guides. They're just, every one of them's just a top-notch, just top-notch person, and they're all athletes. They're all in incredible shape. They're all pretty young and very respectful,
very professional. So it's been awesome. So we've got 2 full days to kind of prowl around some more. The hike in, it seems like we've been walking for 2 full days and covered a lot of miles. And this Chugach is unreal country. Very, very rugged, very rugged. Probably the most rugged place I've ever seen. But it's just been awesome getting to be here and experience, again, when I'm around these guys that do this all the time, it's very, very humbling from a standpoint of, a physical standpoint of, they just do things much faster, much quicker, much more nimble. So I just plod along. I don't have to be first, just have to get there and have to last throughout the hunt. So, these guys hike like there's no tomorrow, and Dar, he's been doing really good as always. He just goes, and yeah, so it's we've eaten dinner, we're in our tents, it's raining, the wind's blowing pretty good. Forecast for tomorrow is 40 to 70% chance of rain. Temperatures yesterday, actually, when it was raining, it was pretty cold. Felt cold. You'd sweat when you're hiking, and then when you'd get up to a ridge where the wind's blowing, you'd cool down very, very quickly. Then actually the last maybe 2 hours of yesterday, the sun came out and was a little bit clear, and so it got cool. Last night, I would bet it was probably, I'd guess 40 degrees. And then today, it pretty much rained on and off all day. It was pretty, cloudy, drizzly, pretty wet. So yeah, getting the full experience here at the Chugach, and seen quite a few rams. So it's pretty neat. And here in Alaska, they have to be 8 years old, or they double broomed, and full curl. So either double broomed, 8 years old, or full curl. And I'll ask Lance to make sure that's correct. But yeah, so that's the scoop for the second night. 2 full days to go, and then the hunt starts. So I will keep you guys posted. And signing off from the Chugach on day 2. Well, guys, the recap for day number 3 is pretty easy. Last night it started raining pretty heavy right about the time we got in our tents, and it rained all night, rained all day here the third day in the Chugach. Basically never got out of our tents. Fog is low and lots of rain, and it's about 9:30 at night, 9 o'clock at night on the third evening here in the Chugach. According to the Garmin InReach, tomorrow the rain is supposed to let up kind of in the middle of the night, around 4 o'clock in the morning or so, 3 to 4 in the morning. And we're supposed to have, I believe, 15 to 20% chances of rain tomorrow. And then the forecast for Thursday, which is opening day here, is 60% chance of rain. So I think what we're going to do, get up early opening morning, probably in the dark, and try and be in position, take advantage of whatever weather we've got Thursday, and see if we can make it happen. So there's a double broomed ram, seen pictures of the ram, so we'll see. We'll see what we can find tomorrow. And it's been a long day in the tents. Done a lot of sleeping and listened to some golf podcasts, and text my wife on the InReach, talked to her on the sat phone. The Kuyu Mountain Star 2-person tent has done well, held up good, but ready to get going tomorrow and get out and shake around a little bit. So that's the report. We'll check in tomorrow. Well, guys, we found a ram. It's the fourth day. We were pretty much rained in our tents. Actually, not pretty much. We were rained in our tents all day yesterday, the third day. And we've moved a couple thousand feet of an elevation and found a ram that if he'll stay where he's at, we've got a chance. Tomorrow's opening morning, and the hunt starts tomorrow. So we've got a ram picked out. He's not super long. He's kind of a shorter ram, but he's got heavy bases, and Lance is trying to get an age on him right now. He's a double broomer. And so it's pretty neat to have a target to go after in the morning. Today was actually a pretty nice day. We had a little bit of rain to start it out. It pretty much rained all night. So it rained all day yesterday and all night. And we've had kind of intermittent fog blowing in and out. And anyway, we've been watching this ram pretty much all afternoon. He's probably moved about 50 yards total. He's up in some real rocky, cliffy, craggy stuff, kind of up in this rock pile. And so we've got kind of a plan. We're going to kind of come in from the east of the ram in the morning. We're going to try and be up in our position kind of just as daybreak gets light there, and so hopefully he'll still be in the position where he's at, and we can get a shot at him. So I've got pretty good digiscope, phone scope of him, and look forward to sharing that with you guys. So we'll see. We've got also some more of Lance's guides are in a different area, and we don't know what they've seen yet. So I can see my camp actually down way off. It looks like I can just see the little orange Kuyu tents down there. So we'll meet back tonight and see what they found, and then maybe they found a nice big ram as well. So maybe we'll have two opportunities to figure out what we're going to do. So beautiful place here. It's actually kind of foggy, intermittent blue sky here and there, but just a beautiful day and awesome time here in the Chugach. It's been fun spending time with Lance and his guides, and so we'll see. Tomorrow is the opener, and if all goes well, hopefully we'll have a ram tomorrow. So I'll probably check in with you guys tonight if anything happens. It's about 4:30, maybe it's 5 o'clock. I haven't looked at my watch. And we're going to kind of work our way down the mountain where we can still keep our eye on the ram. The goal would be to have him bedded, right into dark, so that we have a chance in the morning. If he were to move the last hour of light or something, we'd know it. So that's the report. I'll check in later.
When it basically gets balled up and like the size of a pea, swells up, and so I'm sitting there and he's like, "Are you okay with needles?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I'm sitting there and he takes my big toe and my index toe and he spreads it and he freaking sticks the needle in there, runs it up in there, and he's pulling it in and out and jamming it in that nerve, and I just like go flush, like unreal pain. Like I'm ill. You know what I mean? Just that.
How are you with needles?
And I walk out, and the receptionist is like, "Okay, we'll see you in 2 weeks." She goes, "You don't look very good." I'm like, "Oh, I'm fine." And I sat in my truck for like an hour just sitting there trying to like regroup. and so I go back 2 weeks and I'm just dreading it, you know.
I'm surprised you went back.
Yeah, and I'm like, listen, I'm okay with needles, but that hurt a lot. Is there anything you can do? And he's like, oh, yeah, I can give you this spray and it'll numb it. You won't feel a thing. And I'm like, jeez.
Why didn't you do that the first time?
And it's no big deal.
No. So, yeah, so I got the 2 more and they were fine. But that first one was...
Did it finally let that...
Yeah, for years it's been, you know, it's okay, but like a month and a half ago it flares up again. So I've been going in. I got one on Wednesday before I came. The second one. So I got to go back.
Get one more.
One more. But it's not as bad as that first time was just...
How are you with needles? Oh, fine. Don't need to know. Well, unreal. Day 5. It's actually opening day, August 23rd. Lance's crew, we watched a ram last night, bedded him down, watched him all day yesterday. Lance said he was a mature ram. Thought he was, at least 9, possibly 10 years old. We were looking at him from probably 1,500 yards away. Anyway, we bedded the ram down. We got up before daylight. I think we were up and moving at 4:30. Walked with headlamps for a couple of hours. Got up to the saddle and worked perfectly. Lance actually had worked out with his guys that were across the valley, kind of a signaling system, and that it's something that I thought was pretty cool. Is they had a white trash bag, and they were going to put the trash bag either to the left or to the right or below or above to kind of give us a signal as to if the sheep was in the exact same spot or where the ram was. And we got up to the saddle, and the signal was basically the ram was left of our marker, that a snow patch. And so anyway, we crested over, and Lance kept just poking over and saying, kind of be ready. And then Lance said, I got him. And so Dara and I got our packs, got all set up, 365 yards, set the turret to 365 yards and got him in the crosshairs. And I waited for the ram to turn and made a perfect shot. I was happy about that. 365 yards and hit him right through the front shoulder, right in the crease. And got up there, and the ram's an 11-year-old double broomer, and just a phenomenal ending to this hunt. It's been an amazing experience. I'm actually hiking out right now as I talk here. You can probably hear a little creek, a little kind of spring creek, glacial fed creek, excuse me. But yeah, it was awesome, incredible. Now tomorrow, today's Thursday, so tomorrow being Friday, we have to have the ram checked in by 4. So we are actually, we shot at about 8:15. We're actually going to try and make a push out of where we're at, and then camp overnight so we don't have as far to go, so we can make that 4 o'clock deadline to check the ram in. So awesome stuff. Just an incredible experience. My Kuyu gear performed phenomenally. Lance's crew is amazing. It's always great having my hunting partner Dar with me and getting to share this experience. The Chugach has been an amazing place and super rough and rugged. It's you can't even explain it. But just super excited that everything came together, and really excited about getting an old ram. So pretty neat. I'll maybe check in with you guys when I get into the tents later tonight, but we're going to try and make a 10-mile sludge here this afternoon and cut some distance off. So awesome. If you ever get a chance, put in Lance Kronberger, Freelance Outdoor Adventures, put in for Alaska. You got to come try it. morning, guys. It's the morning of the 24th, August 24th. It's about 6 a.m. Rained most of the night last night. And it's actually still raining. You can hear it on the Kuyu Mountain Star tent. We've got half a day of walk out of here. But we've got the ram, we've got the meat, we've got all our gear, and just an unbelievable hunt. Lance's crew, Freelance Outdoor Adventures, just done an amazing job. We've had a full crew of guys and lots of help. Really all the credit goes to Lance's guys and Lance and John Rydeen and just the whole crew. So it was an awesome experience. And got an 11-year-old ram. Couldn't be happier. Just super proud to be able to experience this. It's pretty dang rough. I'll be real honest. It's about as rough a threshold as I can probably handle. It was something. Chugach is definitely an experience. So if you guys get a chance and want a rough country and a true adventure, this is your place. So yep, can't wait to share the pics, the videos of the adventure. So we'll be out probably midday today, and look forward to recapping this with you guys. Catch you later.